Today, we're going to be taking a look at Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Class Sideswipe. This is the original Bayverse Sideswipe toy, and he is certainly a thing. He's a bit dusty. I tried to clean him up, but it's in a lot of weird places, so it's just a bit hard to get out. As far as it goes for this guy, he's interesting, if not a little bit loose. I played with this thing a ton, so he's not going to be in the best of shape as far as joints being solid and such. And as far as he goes, he does look pretty solid. I mean, the design of Sideswipe and Bayverse is definitely one of the reasons Sideswipe's my favorite Transformer. It 100% contributed. Just so happened his G1 version turns into my all-time favorite car, and then it turns into he's red and black. And it's just like he worked out as just genuinely my favorite one. Design-wise, he does have his weird little chicken legs with his wheel feet, meaning he can't stand at all. He just can't. He just can't stand. He knocked over the camera because he just can't. It's literally impossible. They did fix it, kind of, with the Dark of the Moon release, but the Dark of the Moon release is actually 10 times worse, in my opinion, because they got rid of the silver paint, which looks fantastic on this, honestly. There's so much of it, too. It's so weird, his whole chest area. It's on his blades, it's on his hips, it's on his feet, it's on his backpack. Oh, baby. I mean, speaking of it, let's just take a look at it. I mean, the arm detailing looks pretty good. I mean, it's nice. And you also have the option of flipping the blades up, like so, to form this kind of stowed look, which, yeah, it ain't really stowed, and depending on how you have the backpack oriented, can actually get in the way of articulation. They're a bit iffy after all these years, though, as to opening and closing. It is what it is. The other one's the same way. Nothing too crazy. His legs are pretty cool, though. I mean, they have, like, the little tendrils, and they got, like, those little blue knee pads, and then his feet. His left one's a little dangly, though. Not doing it. And if you bend his knee, you get some Mecha Live in there where the little knee pad thingy moves. So that's neat. The tendrils, I don't think, are as well. These kind of like piston-looking things. They're in there. They, in a way, they make his articulation really iffy. It's really odd. Like, they're there, but they're a bit rubbery, so they do have movement. I'm surprised they haven't ripped or anything over the years. This thing is a 2008 release. Keep that in mind. 2008. That is long ago. We're closer to 20 years ago on this thing than anything else, which is kind of wild, if I'm being honest. That makes me feel old. But I mean, looks good. Head sculpt looks phenomenal. The chest piece does look kind of good. I do love the movie Sideswipe. The only thing I have to say is they didn't paint the Corvette logo, which is right there. They didn't paint it. Which kind of sucks. A couple paint chips. Again, this thing being 2008 is just beyond, honestly. And the backpack. So let's just talk about it. The backpack is there. The back looks all right as a whole, but the backpack itself has a bunch of different ways. So basically, half of the Corvette, I kid you not, this is the top part of the Corvette, obviously. Yeah, you can't really do anything with it. It's just kind of there. So essentially, what you have to do is just take it and put it however. Put it however you would like to put it. This would probably be the recommended one just because it's, you know, a little bit easier. But you can, like, put it down. You can, like, connect it together. There's so many ways. I'm not sure the exact official configuration. But it's just such a bad backpack for a guy who can't stand. He just can't do it. And this part here is not even bad. It's just the whole hood of the car is just on his back. And it's a massive one at that. I mean, as far as he goes, that is essentially it for the robot. It is good, but God, is it a little bit iffy looking at points here, especially nowadays. But that is him, so let's just get into his transformation. So to transform Sideswipe, pretty basic. Fold in his hands like so. Take his arm blades, fold them up, And this is going to be a bit hard with mine. So they're supposed to obviously connect together pretty nicely, but again, age and being played with is going to affect this transformation a little bit. So they kind of split when they're up there like that, which is a shame. For his feet, fold in these kind of inner panels, fold these in like that, rotate it like so, fold out that little silver part, and then you can peg the legs together, take them and straighten them out like that first though. So you get this whole thing. The next thing you're going to do is come to the back, and you're going to come in here and start working with the backpack. So just take it, fold it like so, and just kind of leave it for now until we get the windshield and everything up in there. Like that. Take the back, fold out the exhausts. The head is spring-loaded, so you don't have to really worry about that doing anything too iffy. Unless the spring-loaded feature is gone, which, yeah, that might be a bit bad. Take the hood sections here. Make sure that little silver panel on the side is folded out correctly, because if it's not, it will affect it. Peg them together up the top, like so. Do that. Take these. And then do that. And I just can't get that to straighten out. Even if I wanted to, it just won't do it. Same thing applies to the other side, and we end up with his kind of sketchy looking Corvette, but mostly because of the arm blades. And I mean, it looks good. It's silver. Again, a couple paint chips on it that are pretty noticeable up here. But, I mean, overall, it's silver. It is painted silver. It looks great. That blue translucent plastic looks beautiful. I mean, there ain't much wrong with it. You want my honest opinion? I think this looks beautiful. Much like how most of the movie toys have great alt forms, they always have the licenses, so they have to make them look great. I mean, everything that should be there is there. He has taillights. He has headlights, which aren't painted, but sculpted in with translucent plastic. The wheels are painted. He has the mirrors, which are rubber. I'm surprised they're not gone either. But he has everything, which is a weird thing, because with most modern Transformers, we are lucky to get that. Another thing, though, did not paint the Corvette logo. Again, the Dark of the Moon one does do that. I will say that. That's one thing I will give the Dark of the Moon one, is at least it paints that. But, I mean, as far as it goes, it's a great little alt mode. Rolling-wise, yeah, I can't do it. It's just because of the arm thingies being so iffy. As soon as I put him down, the little arm blade popped out. So yeah, he's a little bit rough, but he still looks pretty good in his alt form and his robot. So let's just get to my final thoughts on Sideswipe here, which, honestly, yeah, he's pretty great. Honestly, he's still pretty good. There is a lot of issues with him, though, which I do have to say. One being, of course, that he can't stand. That comes with the territory of his design, having weird legs with wheel feet. That's just on the designer's fault, honestly. That's just Hasbro following the design of him, so I can't even fault them on that, because that's just genuinely how he moves and how he looks. Every movie Sideswipe toy has feet like that. Every single one of them has these weird little chicken feet with the wheel. It's just how he's designed. There's nothing that could be done. His arm, also a little loose. You can see the shearing of the peg, or the shedding of it. Bit of a shame. But, I mean, as far as it goes with him, he's just as solid as I remember him being, really. And again, there's some iffy steps here for him because he's old, and I don't want to break him again. So, that's pretty nice. And the head does pop out. There's a little button right there where my thumb's at. You press that, and ta-da, there's his head, because the actual gimmick no longer works on mine, unfortunately, typically. Just due to where the chest kind of doesn't peg in too good. And again, with age, that's just going to happen. But as far as he goes, ratings and such. I mean, he is a classic, but I'm not going to give him a 5 out of 5. He does just have blatant issues, which we can't ignore. Such being backpack, of course. That does not help his case for not being able to stand. That was like a half burp stand. It doesn't help his case to be able to stand. And honestly, I mean, there's a lot of good things about him, but that's mostly just his biggest issue. I think other than that, he's really, really good. And if you ever do find a version of it, because there's versions, I'd recommend picking him up. I think he's really, really solid. But that is really it for this review. This has been my review of Revenge of the Fallen Sideswipe. This has been I'll Delete, signing out.